Hey there, today I'm going to be showing you 5 new and creative dinner ideas that you could toss onto your kitchen table in very minimal time. All of these meals are family friendly and delicious, so I really hope you enjoy it. Let's go get to cooking. To kick us off today, we are making this Southwest chicken. So to get it started on my cutting board right here, I have 2 large chicken breasts. I'm cutting them in half horizontally, just like this. So now it'll appear as 4 chicken breasts, kind of. I like doing this because it'll help the chicken cook quicker, and then I always think that it makes them more flavorful in the end. So after I set my chicken to the side in this medium bowl, I added 1 can of drained and rinsed black beans, 1/4 cup of fresh cilantro, 1 diced jalapeno, a cup of frozen corn, and 1 small can of green chilies. If you don't have fresh cilantro on hand or you don't want to use a jalapeno or any of the ingredients, you could always swap them out for other ingredients that you do prefer. So now I'm just mixing everything to combine, and then I am going to set this bowl to the side. I placed my chicken into this large baking dish, or you could use a 9x13 baking dish, and I'm going to season the chicken with a little dash of salt, pepper, onion powder, and cumin. After I poured the black bean and corn mixture over the top of the chicken, I tried to spread it out as even as possible. And now I'm adding the juice from 1 lime on top. And then on top of everything, you will want to add 1 cup of Mexican style cheese. This will bake on 375 degrees for about 30 to 35 minutes, or until your chicken is completely cooked. I really love how this is kind of like a one dish type of dinner. You don't need to make any sides. The chicken has so much great flavor. My family really loves this one. Now we're making these crunch wraps, and oh boy, they are particularly good. To my pan on the stove, I'm adding 1 pound of ground beef. Break the ground beef up and cook it through. While my ground beef is cooking away, to this smaller sized pot, I'm adding 1 can of refried beans. I really like this particular can of refried beans. I think it tastes good. Heat the refried beans through. Anyways, back over to my ground beef now that it is cooked and I removed any excess grease. I'm adding about 1.5 tablespoons of taco seasoning in with 1/4 cup of water. Stir this all together and let it simmer for about 3 to 5 minutes. Assembling these crunch wraps really can't get any easier than this. To my huge burrito-sized tortilla, I added a little bit of the refried beans we heated up, a little bit of the taco meat, next 1 of these tostadas. On that tostada, go ahead and add a small amount of sour cream, iceberg lettuce, diced tomatoes, and then cheese. I do want to let you know, you could add any toppings you want to your crunch wrap, but these are some of my favorite toppings. And then I cut out a little circle of another tortilla, and then I placed it in the center. And now you just see me folding my crunch wrap up. Over to my pan on the stove that is hot, I'm adding a little bit of avocado oil, or you could use any type of oil you like. I added the crunch wrap down, seam side down, and I'm going to let it cook on each side for about 30 seconds to a minute, or until it is golden brown. And here's what it looks like once it is nice and crispy. These crunch wraps probably have to be one of my all-time favorite things to make, just because they are so simple to throw together and my entire family loves them, so they are a complete win-win. I can't hardly remember the last time I made orange chicken, so now that's what we're making. To this medium-sized bowl, I added 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour with 1/2 cup of cornstarch and a dash of salt and pepper. I whisked these dry ingredients all together, and now you are going to be adding in 1 egg along with 1 1/4 cup of water and a tablespoon of vegetable oil. Whisk everything to combine. Now that the batter looks like this, it's time to stir in our chicken. I'm using about 1.5 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I do suggest you using chicken thighs as opposed to like chicken breast for this recipe, just because the chicken thighs will be a lot more juicy in the end. But if you wanted to, you could use chicken breast. But anyways, I'm covering this with cling wrap and I'm going to set it in my fridge to chill for about 30 minutes. Here we are about 30 minutes later. It's time to start on the white sticky rice now. I want to show you how I do it in my Instant Pot. After I sprayed the bottom of my Instant Pot with nonstick spray, I added a cup of rinsed jasmine rice with a cup of water, put the lid on top, set it to sealing, and then I pressed the rice button. That's all I do. Over here to my large pot, I have about 3.5 cups of hot vegetable oil. You do want to make sure your oil is hot before you start adding the chicken in. So here is the chicken that I pulled out of the fridge. I'm just shaking off any excess batter and then adding it in. I did do this in about 3 different batches so my chicken wasn't overcrowding. I let it fry in my pot for a few minutes on each side or until my chicken was completely cooked through. Now that all of my chicken is cooked, I'm going to start on the sauce now. In this little bowl, I have a tablespoon of water. To the water, I added 3 teaspoons of cornstarch. Mix this together so the cornstarch is no longer lumpy. Over to my pan on the stove, I'm going to be adding the juice from about 2 oranges in, so about 1/4 cup of orange juice. Next, to add in, I have a cup of brown sugar with a tablespoon of minced garlic, 4 tablespoons of low sodium soy sauce, and 1/3 cup of white vinegar. Whisk this together and bring it up to a simmer. Once it does start to simmer, go ahead and add in the cornstarch slurry that we just made up. Continue to whisk this until the cornstarch slurry thickens. Once it does thicken, add in the cooked chicken. Stir the chicken around to get coated in the sauce. You don't want to cook the chicken in the sauce very long, or else your chicken might not be as crispy. I served my orange chicken over a bed of that Instant Pot white rice. I sprinkled plenty of sesame seeds and green onions over the top. I really need to be making orange chicken more often. It is so good and it's really not very hard to make at all. Now we're making this lower carb veggie packed turkey skillet. We are going to cut up our veggies first. So 1/2 of an onion, 2 zucchinis, and 1 red bell pepper. You could always use different veggies if you don't care for these specific ones. Over to my pan on the stove, I have about a tablespoon of hot olive oil in there. I added my onion along with a tablespoon of minced garlic. I gave this a really good stir and let it saute for about 2 minutes or until the onion started to get soft. Now I'm adding in my 1 pound of ground turkey. Break the turkey up and cook it completely through. Once my turkey was cooked, I removed it to a separate plate, and then I set this plate to the side. In the same pan we cooked the turkey in, I added an additional tablespoon of olive oil. Once the oil was hot, I added in about 3 cups of broccoli that I cut into smaller pieces, along with the zucchinis and the bell pepper. Saute these veggies around for about 3 minutes or until they start to soften. Now that my veggies are starting to get softer, I'm adding back in our cooked turkey along with 1 can of fire roasted tomatoes, or you could use regular diced tomatoes, whatever you prefer. For the seasonings, 2 teaspoons of dried oregano, 1 teaspoon of dried basil, and a dash of salt and pepper. Stir this together and let it simmer to reduce down for about 7 to 10 minutes, I'd say. Now that most of the liquid is gone from our pan, I added in 1/2 cup of shredded sharp cheddar cheese. I let the cheese melt down and then I sprinkled a little bit more cheese on top, and then it was ready to serve. I really love how this meal is packed full of so much nutrients. It has so many different veggies in it, and it's also lower carb. We love this one. I didn't know how my daughter would think of it at first, but she devoured her plate. Lately, I've been in such a mood for soup, so now we're making this tortilla soup, and it's actually a meatless meal, so it's for all of my meatless meal friends out there. After I diced up my yellow bell pepper and an onion into smaller pieces, I moved over to my stove and I poured about 2 tablespoons of olive oil into my large pot, and then I added the onion and bell pepper in there. I sauteed them around for about 5 minutes or until they got soft. Now I'm adding in the seasonings, about half a teaspoon of chili powder, garlic powder, and cumin with a dash of cayenne pepper and salt and pepper. Stir this all together. For the meat substitute, we are adding in lentils and beans today. So for the lentils, I added in 3/4 cup of them. They are so good and healthy for your body. I really need to cook with them more often. And then I added a half a cup of salsa verde with 1 can of drained corn, a can of drained and rinsed black beans and pinto beans, 1 can of tomato sauce, or you could use diced tomatoes, whatever you prefer, 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, and then 2.5 cups of vegetable broth. Stir this all together and then bring it up to a boil. Drop it down to a simmer and let it simmer on your stove covered for about 15 to 20 minutes. You do want to stir it frequently while it's covered though, just to ensure that nothing sticks to the bottom of the pot. Here's what it should look like after about 15 to 20 minutes. I added in half a cup of heavy cream. The heavy cream is optional, but I do like my tortilla soup a little bit more creamy. I topped my soup with all of my favorite fixings: cheese, tortilla strips, sliced avocado, cilantro, cherry tomatoes, and sour cream. This is such a good hearty soup to make. This is probably one of my all-time favorite meatless meals, actually. I hope you enjoyed this video today, and I would really love to have you here, so go ahead and subscribe down below the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.